Ladies and gentlemen, we saw an overextension to the upside when the ETFs came out. Now we are seeing what seems like an overextension sideways. Could this overextension sideways be Bitcoin reconnecting itself to where it is meant to be as per the 4-year cycle? Let's discuss that today. Now, before we discuss it though, let's check out a couple of things here. We've got the YouTube community post I did 12 minutes ago. I said, ask me a question about the market that you would like to see answered in an upcoming video. Very self-explanatory. Go to my YouTube community page, type in a question. Do you have a question about TA, about how to learn TA, about Bitcoin itself, where Bitcoin is, where crypto is, what you should buy? Just ask me there and I'll answer your questions in tomorrow's video. And then one more thing here, the exchanges, Bitunix and BingX, I've got my referral links down below. They give you a 15% trading fee discount upon sign up for life. They are both global non-KYC. They've both never been hacked before. Take your picks. The exchange links are down below. Use them to help out the channel and help out yourself. Let's get into the content today. So in this time of uncertainty, in this time of boringness, really, just 5 months, 6 months almost consolidation, I need to kind of highlight something that I think people are maybe not talking about too much right now. And that is the potential that Bitcoin is reconnecting to where it is meant to be in the 4-year cycle after the massive upside deviation triggered by the ETFs. And perhaps I'm going to take too long to explain this today. I've already recorded the video at the time of me doing this introduction. It's a very simple point, but I do want to elaborate on it and make sure you understand it fully and make sure you understand my perspective on how I'm approaching the uncertainty right now, right? There's uncertainty in traditional markets. There's uncertainty, are we going to see a recession, or are we already seeing a recession and they're just calling it something else? Or are we going to see the Federal Reserve printing their way out of the problem here, dropping rates rapidly and printing large amounts of money and increasing the value of assets? That's the question right now. That's the uncertainty. And there's no clear answer to that right now. But my answer is that we need to be focusing on the charts because the charts are a reflection of everything else. So until I see clear TA to the downside, I'm not going to be jumping on the recession bandwagon. Until I see clear TA to the upside, I'm not going to be jumping on the inflationary increase in the money supply bandwagon. Right now, I'm happy to sit here and wait, right? We know where we are. We know what Bitcoin's doing right now. It's within a larger let me go ahead and bring up the BLX so I can show you. It's within a larger bullish channel formation, right? The bullish channel formation is clear. I mean, there's no other way to describe this structure here. 5 months in a bullish channel formation. Bullish channels generally break to the upside. So yes, it's bullish macro. Yes, we are above our very important macro support lines. One of them stemming back from 2018 in yellow, you can see it here. Another one stemming backwards from October 2023 in yellow, you can see it there. Another one actually on the weekly chart RSI, which I'll show you right now. You can see it, acting as support and resistance on multiple occasions. We are above the levels we need to be above. We're within the structure we need to be within. We haven't broke down from anything yet. But we also haven't broken up from anything yet, right? We haven't actually broke the structure to the upside. In fact, we're getting pinned down quite heavily here. We have major resistance from the center line of this structure, major resistance that is bolstered from the bull market support band, bolstered from the 50 and 200 days SMAs. Let's bring them up on the daily chart here. You can see the green and red line I just brought up, the 250-day SMAs acting as very strong resistance, actually seeing a death cross right there, which is not a good sign. So, although we're in a bullish structure, we have that macro bullishness that kind of underpins the Bitcoin price action right now, and yet we're not really seeing anything yet. So we're just kind of waiting and just kind of seeing how this structure resolves. I've been very clear about Bitcoin recently. I've said, I'm macro bullish on Bitcoin, but I'm not sitting here saying you should buy it right now. I'm certainly not saying you should buy altcoins. I don't think you should be buying altcoins here. I'm saying you need to wait, right? Wait until we're out of this pinned down position. Wait until we're above 64K, above the center line, above the levels that are pinning us down, or even potentially, if we're talking macro, maybe even wait until the entire structure itself is broken, okay? That's what I've been saying about Bitcoin. So overall, we are still within the structure. And when you are within a structure, look, there's a reason why you're within the structure. You're within the structure because there's no clear market sentiment, okay? If you're within something, it means the bulls have not been strong enough to break to the upside and the bears have not been strong enough to break to the downside, which means there's been no decisive sentiment in the market. It's vague, uncertain sentiment, right? Maybe leaning slightly bullish because of the structure itself, but that's the overall picture right now. No one really knows what the hell's going on. We know that Bitcoin is still above the levels it needs to be above. So technically speaking, we're macro bullish, but no one can really sit here and tell you decisively what's going to happen next. That's the truth. That's the genuine truth, right? We're just reacting to the charts. And in reacting to the charts. That's why I've said it's not a great time to be buying altcoins. The charts on altcoins look terrible. The charts on Bitcoin look okay. They're slightly bullish, but they're not clear, out of the woods yet. Again, breaking these levels here, breaking the center line, breaking the channel itself. But overall, one thing I find interesting about this range is the consolidation itself. I think this consolidation is actually quite a good thing. Bitcoin moved upwards too high too soon. When the ETF rumors were coming out, we saw Bitcoin move upwards massively, 80, 90% even, in the matter of like 1.5 months. All right, and when the reality of ETFs came out, we saw just a 2-week correction before another gigantic move to the upside, breaching all-time highs before the halving for the first time ever. If we're looking at Bitcoin historical price action, what we can see very clearly is that Bitcoin, historically speaking, within the bounds of the 4-year cycle, okay, with the first halving being in 2012, that all price action has been encompassed within the larger 4-year cycle at this point. Within the bounds of the 4-year cycle, Bitcoin has historically taken about 1,100 days to go from the bull market top to breaching that all-time high and entering a new bull market. It's taken 1,100 days. Now, if Bitcoin this cycle was to take 1,100 days again, we would only have broken all-time highs in around October this year, right? We mentioned this over and over again last year. Last year, we were sitting here and we were saying the all-time highs likely to be broken by October 2024. Of course, the ETFs came out and it sped things upwards dramatically and unexpectedly. And so that kind of reshaped the market. And then that's when a lot of people started saying, oh, we're going to see a left translated cycle. We're going to see Bitcoin top sooner rather than later. We're going to see Bitcoin finish its bull market in 2024. That was based on basically just nothing really. And later on, as this range has progressed, it's been based on looking at, how interest rates have affected the markets in price cycles, but there's been no definitive trends there. I mean, if we look at 2000 and 2008, people have said, interest rates dropped in 2000, they dropped in 2008, those things led to a recession, but those are only 2 occasions. And if we're looking at all the other times it's happened, which is 4 other times, again, there's just been no consistency there. There's no established trend, right? So you can pick out data points that match your bias, but at the end of the day, your bias only becomes fact, only becomes a trend when there's an actual trend backing. You need 3 or more consistent data points. That's just not been the case here. So, realistically, a lot of people are calling for a 2024 top. It wasn't really based on too much at all, really. People were talking about 5.3. They were talking about various things. But the reality is no one really knows why Bitcoin went so high so soon. We can say it was ETFs. That's the explanation I give. The reality is we don't really know exactly what it was. There was an overinflation there. There was an extended move to the upside. And now what I see is Bitcoin seeing just like it saw an overextension to the upside, we're seeing an overextended correction here, overextended consolidation. We haven't seen a consolidation like this before. If we look at when Bitcoin has broken all-time highs historically speaking, okay, we broke all-time highs right here, right? We saw a brief correction that lasted 3 weeks and then we skyrocketed to the upside, and on that move to the upside, we actually entered an altcoin season. If we're looking at the following cycle in 2020, we saw a very, very, very brief correction, like literally days before, again, skyrocketing into an altcoin season. Both of these occurrences, when Bitcoin broke all-time highs in 2016, 2017, and 2020, on both of those occasions, that is when an altcoin season began. That is when a parabolic bull market actually began. But we sit here and we look at this cycle and we see Bitcoin breaking all-time highs right here, and we see literally 1 more week of upside past the all-time high breakout, and then we enter a 5-month-long downwards consolidation, right? This is a different kind of beast. We've never experienced this before. And what I think could be happening here, and this is a very speculative conclusion, but what I think could be happening here, given the fact that everything else is shrouded in uncertainty, we may as well throw out another scenario that is, again, impossible to prove. We could be reconnecting to the 4-year cycle, right? We deviated above the 4-year cycle. We broke all-time highs 250 days earlier than expected. We could be seeing this extensive consolidation to get back on track to where we are meant to be. If you asked me last year, if you asked me in August last year, where would Bitcoin be in August 2024? And I've actually said this last year. I'm not just making this up. I would have said, and I did say, around the 50K price region, because that is just below the all-time high and within striking distance of it. And we would need to make a move upwards by around October, right? If Bitcoin does break all-time highs around October, that to me would be clear evidence that Bitcoin is back on track to the 4-year cycle and back on track to what it has done historically speaking, which would be clear evidence that Bitcoin is back on track to targeting an all-time high in October 2025. And for various other reasons, that all-time high, in my opinion, would be around 130,000 US dollars. I've spoken about that before. I'm going to leave a link down below if you want the reason why I've come to that price target. Now, it's not a prediction, it's an observation. I don't think we have enough data for it to be a prediction. I'm just merely throwing out a number there. But again, I think right now there is a case to be made that this extensive consolidation after an extended move to the upside is just correcting us back on path to where we're meant to be. We moved upwards too high too soon, and now we're seeing an extended correction to get us back to where we need to be. That could be what we're seeing here. Impossible to prove, just throwing out a theory. I think it's just important people are reminded of that. Instead of getting all doomy and gloomy about Bitcoin right now, oh, it's been going sideways for so long, I'm going to go to sleep and go into hibernation and just not look at Bitcoin until I hear about it in the news again. You need to remember that this could very well only be happening because of the overextension we saw to the upside, right? Overextension to the upside, overextension sideways. It makes perfect sense just from a basic logical perspective. I don't know that that's the case. I'm throwing out a theory. Again, if there was more important things to talk about, I would be talking about them. The fact of the matter is Bitcoin's short-term and medium-term price action is very, very boring right now. So I'm talking about what I can find. And that's what I need. I suppose I'm just reminding you of that argument. So what do you think about it? Do you think the Bitcoin is seeing this correction, lasting 5 months, to get itself back on track to where it's meant to be as per the 4-year cycle? Or do you think this is indicative of something else entirely? Do you think this is indicative of Bitcoin running out of momentum before flipping to the downside and breaking the 4-year cycle? That's an argument you can make as well. I don't think we'll know decisively until we see clarity on traditional markets. And I think we will see that reflected in the charts when it occurs. If Bitcoin breaks below all these structures, we'll very clearly know the answer. If Bitcoin breaks to the upside, we'll very clearly know the answer. At the moment, we're leaning bullish because it's within a bullish structure, but the bullish structure is not broken up or down yet, so we don't know for sure. Guys, if you have any questions about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin that you want to see me answer, right? Ask me a question. I just did a YouTube community poll. Go to my YouTube homepage, go to community, and write a comment in that poll. Go ahead and do that, because obviously, as you can see in this video, I'm running out of things to talk about. This range has been ranging for a long period of time. There's only so many videos I can make on TA when there's no TA developments, right? So give me questions to answer there. I'd really appreciate that. And obviously, you'd get your question answered, which is very valuable to you as well. So we'll look into those questions in tomorrow's video, provided nothing has happened. But guys, just like I mentioned at the start of the video, go ahead and check out the Bitfinex and BingX exchanges. Both are global non-KYC, both are 15% trading fee discounts, okay, with my referral links down below. So use those links down below, get those discounts. We've got the Crypto Academy here, teaching you how to trade. The Become a Trader 10-unit course will teach you everything you need to know about TA, so you can, as per the title, become a trader for yourself. It's on sale right now as well, so that's a discounted price for a limited time. The VIP group on Telegram, guys, if you want altcoin trading signals, I post altcoin trading signals 4 times a week with a 78.39% win rate on those altcoin trading signals posted. On top of the altcoin trading signals you will get access to, you will also get access to a group chat with 115 other VIP members where you can discuss the market, share charts, and do whatever you will in there. So very useful stuff. Guys, check those things out. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers.